There's too many women that are making $50,000 a year, demanding a man to make $1 million, and you've never made $1 million before. You've never made $500,000 before. You've never made $100,000 before.
So you're saying that a woman should only desire a millionaire if she's touched $1 million?
I'm saying be realistic with what you qualify for. Why would a millionaire, outside of beauty, why would a millionaire choose you? Now, there is a thing called hypergamy. Women choose at their level or higher. If I make $50,000 and he makes $85,000, that is hypergamy. He almost doubles what I make. That is still a man that can provide. That is still a man that can show up for the house. That is still a man that can go. You could still go on trips with $135,000 a year for the normal person. You know, if your mortgage is $3,000 a month, you could do so much. You could do so much. Be clear about what is actually necessary for us to be happy, because you can be happy with a good man that's not a millionaire. He doesn't have to make $500,000. A lot of these women don't even know what that lifestyle would be like. $500,000 is around $50,000 a month. What are you going to spend it on? And don't you dare say bags, because now you're not even a good, you're not even a good investment. You are a liability. If you just want me to make $50,000 so I could spend 20 of it on you and your lifestyle, that's not. You're not going to be chosen. Because even trips, you could catch a flash sale and go on a trip for $1,500, 5 days. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about normal people. I see your face. Yes, I'm going to fly first class. And even me, let me tell you my hack. You want to know my hack? How I'm going to make sure I fly first class every single time?
The most dangerous thing a man can do is have the audacity to actually think highly of himself, to actually believe that he is deserving of good too. That's the most dangerous thing a man can do. Let me break it down for you. A man who values himself is not going to settle for scraps. He's not going to tolerate any disrespect. He's not going to linger in places where he's merely tolerated instead of feeling celebrated. And a man with that kind of mindset, those kind of values, he is dangerous. He's dangerous because it threatens people. Because when a man knows his worth, he becomes harder to control, harder to manipulate. He sees through the scams, and that man becomes harder to keep small, harder to shrink. You see, the problem is the world is full of men walking around with strength in their bodies, but doubt in their souls. Their souls are empty. But when a man flips that switch, when he finally says to himself, I deserve better, I deserve more, everything about that man changes. But the sad thing is, he's going to end up losing a lot of people in his life. Many people, even those the man trusts, because many people don't want the man to know his value. You see, his standards, his relationship, and his future, those things are going to change when he realizes his value. So yes, the most dangerous thing a man can do is to have the audacity to believe in his own value. Because once he does, that man becomes unstoppable.
And I think what gets a lot of men when a lot of these modern women talk is they try to be nice to women. They try to do, because some women might say, well, I want a traditional man. And so he tries to do the traditional thing. But when and even outside of traditional stuff, a man might do something nice. He might try to do something because he likes you or he wants to show, hey, I'm interested. But everything that he does gets treated like the bare minimum, right? And so eventually, when you continue to hear that type of stuff all the time, a man's going to stop volunteering.
I actually have something I want to say. I don't know when it started, but I realized I started to do this thing where I don't let myself actually feel the things that I feel. I don't let myself admit that it does overwhelm me that I'm 35 and single. I don't let myself feel the full weight of the times that I've been hurt in my life because I don't like to give those people any sort of power over me. I don't even like to say it to myself, let alone publicly, but then I kind of forget a really important piece of the puzzle. Vulnerability and sharing these feelings is where real progress is made. As much as I want to fight it and act like it doesn't get to me, that I'm 35 and I'm single and I don't have any prospects right now, isn't going to change what I really feel. It's hard. It's really hard to sit and admit that I have been hurt. It's hard to sit and admit that I have taken risk on love and it hasn't worked out. It's hard to admit to myself that it's impacted the way that I view dating.
Emotional damage.
But one thing I do know that I really like about myself is the fact that I'm never gonna give up trying. I'm never gonna give up on myself. And even though, yes, I am 35 and single, I'm also 35 with a clean slate.
What?
35 and no longer in a toxic relationship. 35 and completely supporting myself. And even though it can be so overwhelming and sometimes embarrassing to not be where I thought I was going to be, at least I'm not where I was.
Congratulations. You're a fucking adult.
A man that has self-respect doesn't need a dramatic exit to be finished. That's what these modern women don't understand. Oh, he just up and left. Think there was a dude one time, you know, just him and his lady couldn't get on the same page. And he finally just said, you know, I'm done. I'm done. He didn't say that to her, but he was like, hey man, you need anything from the store? And she's like, no. He went to the store and he never came back. Done. Finished.
What if women went back to what they used to do? Cook, clean, be submissive, do whatever their man says, be the, traditional wife. What happens then? Let's just say all us women stop talking. We just start listening to, whatever the our man say. Then what happens? Can somebody answer me that? Like, if everything goes back, then the men have to go back too. Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm driving. But if we gotta go back to basically taking orders from a man, then are they gonna go back to normal? Are they gonna start paying some bills? Are they gonna let us stay at home? Are they gonna be providers and protectors and all the other that they used to do that they ain't doing either? Like, everybody keeps saying, the traditional woman is gone and ain't nothing out here but 3 old foes and things like that. But, like, where are the men that's doing this? Where's the men that's, protecting me from the grizzly bears and not becoming the bear? If you know, you know. But, like, I don't know. But, like, if I'm going to go back to, I ain't going back to shit. Let's just get this straight right off the rip. But if, hypothetically speaking, women went back to the way things were, men can't match that energy. They ain't gonna match that energy. They ain't gonna do none of this that them old men was doing. Unc and them, OG and them was doing back in the day. They ain't doing none of that. They gonna do the bare minimum, just enough to get them draws off your butt cheeks.
And modern women aren't really realizing that your best bet, well, I can't even say that. Y'all are trying to get close to men and men are pushing you away because you haven't proven to a man, I'm actually a resource. I can actually help you. I can actually be your friend. I can actually show you stuff and tell you things that you don't know that can really elevate your life in all facets of it. So men are like, don't even come around here. I can tell you my proposition, but you can't tell me yours. If you can't tell me what's going on with you, I don't want to hear it.
I just asked a man on a date. Hey, scratch cornea, retainer still in. Fuzzy socks. Fuzzy socks. What was the answer? Absolutely. How am I meeting men? At 10 a.m. in my own house on a Friday morning? Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get about 7 to 8 Doug fir trees. You're going to plant them in your backyard relatively close to the home. Okay, just like dangerously so. Wait about 100 years. Let those puppies really get up there. Eventually, they will just start decimating your gutter system on their own. Then you're going to call. You're going to be like, bro, you got to come out now. Who's going to show up? Mike. Mike's going to be like, hey, I'm all done. You want to check it out? Here's where it gets interesting. I go back there. I check it out. I go, excellent craftsmanship, sir. Well done. He goes, yeah. Thank you. If you need anything else, give a shout, ask for Mike directly, since I know what's going on. Say less, Mike. I was like, I do have a quick question, though. If I were to reach out and ask if Mike was free for a beer sometime, he goes, absolutely. I go, okay, would you want to take my number? Bro, phone's already out.
Ladies, this is what men keep on trying to tell you. If you hit on them, that will be successful 99% of the time. Because even when they are interested in you first, there are multiple reasons why they may not make the first move. But when you do that, you make the first move, you make it crystal clear that that man has the green light. And then that man will be all in. I mean, he will have the date planned even before he pulls out of that driveway.
Modern women realize after a while, when they come back to reality, the hard part and the painful part is you realizing that, oh no, he was giving me this attention, he was giving me this validation, and I realize through all of that stuff that he was giving me, maybe taking me on trips and things of that nature, there was no commitment that came out of it. Yep. And a man would have told you that. A man would have already told you that. But for modern women, they don't really listen to anybody. So they always seem to find out too late.
He said he will only marry me if we get a prenup. Then you know what to do, girl. Go visit your doctor. Get you some prescriptions. Get you some mind-altering prescriptions and take them on that day. And have your receipts from the pharmacy. Have your visit to the doctor. And film yourself on Instagram taking your meds. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Make sure the date is seen as well. That is posted. Then the contract will be null and void. There you go.
Oh my god. Just don't get married, yeah. Because this is crazy.
Okay, how can you convince your husband to let you stay home? Quit your job. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's how. So I got fired and I'm getting harassed at work. I ain't going back. I'm staying home. Take care of me. That's it. That's all you gotta say. I'm harassed at work. I ain't going back. You gotta take care of me. I'm going home. I'm traumatized. Can't do it no more.
You better find an next job.
There you go. Just lie.
Just lie.
There is no discussion. If when you decide it for yourself, there is no discussion. You just gonna do it.
Easy peasy, eh? And other people supposed to just...
He said, ladies, lie about your body count. Don't even answer the question about no body count. That's stupid. If a man is asking you that question, he's broke or stupid or low class. Real men don't ask that question. You know? No one has ever asked me that question. In my entire life. No man has ever asked me that question except the Dusties in the comments. Okay? So, if you answer that question, you are lowering yourself. Don't even answer the question. Just laugh.
She's talking to women who has a body count of 150. Just don't get married, because now they have this trick where you can go take pills and then tell the judge that you were on medication that day. Yo, the that they come up with is ridiculous.
And what a lot of modern women don't really understand is that a man, when he's getting dressed, even before he gets dressed, he's thinking, you know, is this going to be a good date? Is she going to catfish me? Am I going to have to pay a whole lot? And for the ladies out there that respect a man's time and his energy and money, I do appreciate that. But there are a lot of modern women out there that disrespect the man, they talk about the man, and the man is paying. Think about how crazy that is. The man is paying and you're sitting there disrespecting him to his face. So when a man sees that, he's like, oh, no, I'm staying at the house.
I can't be at the bar all the time. Where are other places to freestyle with 50 plus men? Everywhere. Men, 50-year-old men don't just, old people don't hang out in clubs or bars. You know, they're in restaurants. They're, you know, having lunch. You know, they're at the golf course. They're at Home Depot so they can fix up their house. They're at galas, fundraisers, you know, kids. They're at social events and things like that. You know, you gotta get out there. You can't just go to bars. You gotta get in the rich area. Everything in the rich area, you know, people are gonna frequent on the weekend when, you know, they have a lot of free time during the day. So at night, most old people are gonna frequent on the weekend when, you know, they have a lot of and things like that. You know, you gotta get out there. You can't just go to bars. You gotta get in the rich area. Everything in the rich area, you know, people are gonna frequent on the weekend when, you know, they have a lot of free time during the day. So at night, most old people are gonna be in their house. Okay, if they're not dating or at a function, you know. Old people don't get out of their house unless they have something to do, an event or something. Someone said wine tasting. museums, resorts, watching the news.
I think what modern women have to understand is that men are not obligated to rescue you from the choices that you made. Men have told you over and over again, hey, don't do that. Don't go this direction. Don't date this man. But modern women don't listen to anybody other than the person that's telling them exactly what they want to do. And essentially, they were going to do it anyway. They were going in that direction anyway, literally walking. They just went faster because somebody in the comments it could be a whole comment section telling them, don't do that. But if there's one person saying, go girl, I take that as a sign. God is telling me I'm manifesting, and they're going to do it anyway.
So I was talking to my friend who's a man. He can't help it. And we were talking about why it seems like women are just abandoning men en masse right now. Like why we're all giving up on men.
Blah, blah, blah. Gender slop. The reality of dating is a lot of people are running away from men because they can't get the ones that they want. And that's the same thing for the guys, right? A lot of guys who say, I'm tired of dating, is because they're not getting women that they want. That's how all of this works, right? Like, y'all can sit here and pretend that, oh, there's something wrong with men. Oh, there's something wrong with women. And it's funny because if a man made this video, we'd call him an incel. You know what I mean? But it's like, y'all can sit here and make these videos and say that, men are X, Y, and Z. You bring up all the statistics and and say men are more likely to do this and that. But it's like, at the end of the day, the reasoning behind these videos is because you can't get men that you want. Because otherwise, if you actually didn't want to date men, you wouldn't complain online. Legitimately, bro, you'd just be like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't want to date men. But now you have to create reasonings behind why you're not doing it to cope. And that's what these videos are. It's like every time we try and make this conspiracy on, oh, women are leaving men in droves, and stop. Like, that's not happening. And if it is, it's not happening because of what you're saying. Because we see terrible people in relationships all the time. So what you're saying doesn't make sense.
And we have a lot of women talking about the male loneliness epidemic, but they don't really truly realize that for a lot of these men, they're actually moving away from dating. And even some, depending on where they are in their life, are moving away from society. How can you do that? It's actually pretty easy. I mean, there are some inconveniences, but it's pretty easy. If society is going to treat me this way, I'm just going to essentially do my own thing. You have to remember that society was built on the backs and the knowledge of men. A lot of men. I'm not saying that women didn't have a part in it, and I'm not saying that society is perfect. What I'm saying is, if a man looks at society and says, this is not working for me, if he looks at dating and says, this is not working for me, then he has the strength and the capability to go in and create another world of his own.
One of the most common comments that I get when people watch my partner shaming or watch me call out bad behavior is, this is why I'm done with dating. And I want to address this because, shoot, I did not mean for that to be the point of this channel. Don't get me wrong, I actually think being single is great. I think people who enjoy being single actually make the best partners, but one of the biggest reasons I started the whole Womansplaining Men to Women series was as a response to all of the anti-men echo chambers that I kept finding myself stuck in. It all started to really affect my anxiety and my depression because I started honestly believing that all men were like these horror stories I was seeing online. But at the end of the day, it's just not true. And so I wanted to start poking holes in those echo chambers. So if the whole reason I started making videos was to get women to stop saying men aren't worth it, the last thing I want men's takeaway to be from my videos is women aren't worth it. Dating isn't worth it. Love isn't worth it. It is! Look, since I've started, I've made generously 500 videos. Even if every single one of those videos was about a woman engaging in bad behavior, which they're not, that's still a very marginal, tiny population that does not represent all women. Look, I don't have the numbers on this and I don't have a way of conventionally proving it to you, but I honestly believe that most men and most women are good people who care about other people and improving themselves. It's just that the ones who don't are very, very loud. I just wanted to remind you of that as you continue interneting, because I was poisoned and it was not good. Do not let yourself get poisoned too.
Is pop culture teaching women to choose emotionally unavailable men? Maybe. What's the weirdest propaganda that you feel like movies have tried to push on you in your lifetime? For me, I grew up with tons and tons of movies that kept saying that the worst thing a man could be is a grown-up. You'd see a love triangle of romances where the guy you're supposed to be rooting against, his only sin is that he's kind of normal. He's got a job and stuff. But then some other guy, a bad boy, would come along and it doesn't matter that he sleeps in his car. Or if both of the guys are financially stable, you're supposed to root for the one that is less emotionally stable, the one that's more childlike. Jason Pargin just broke my brain with this insight. I think it's so right. Like, modern romance culture isn't just telling stories. It's shaping selection criteria. Across movies, media, even mainstream dating advice, women are being subtly conditioned to seek out emotional unavailability and volatility as signs of desirability. And the result is a generation of women confusing conflict with compatibility and drama with depth and brokenness with mystery. It's the he's hard to love but I can fix him fantasy, repackaged and repackaged in everything from films to novels. In The Notebook, Ali chooses Noah, the poor, impulsive, deeply emotional man, over Lon, her secure and respectable fiancé. What's the conclusion? Stability is boring and true love is obsessive, chaotic, and all-consuming.
Modern women don't really understand that they do these stupid tests and they try to interview men. And I don't have a problem with you going and asking questions, because you really honestly and truly, you got to know what you got to know, right? But if you interview me and you try to qualify me for the job, and they say, yeah, this is the man that I want. He's the perfect man for the job. He does this, he does that, yada yada yada. Great, fantastic. There's a little thing that a lot of employers do at the end, and it's almost mandatory at the end of the end of the interview, when they say, okay, do you have any questions for me? And now that's the time when the candidate can say, yeah, I have this question. So what about this? What about that? And really honestly and truly put the employer on the hot seat, or the interviewer on the hot seat, because it's not just me that's looking for a job. You're looking for a good candidate that's going to make you money. And modern women need to understand you're kind of in the same dynamic. When you're asking this man, okay, what is it that you can do for me, yada, 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 and how do you fit in my life? At the end of your questioning, now a man turns back and says, okay, now what can you do for me? And a lot of modern women don't like to answer that question.